farming. You know what I mean?
But these individuals would be seen as domestic threats, domestic terrorist threats. You know what I'm saying? I got my contention is
They wouldn't even recognize our congressmen today. They would be like, they'd be like, they wouldn't even let them make tea for them. You know what I mean? Our congressmen today are just not that level of sophistication compared to those guys. Our founding fathers were very serious men. They were nobody to be trifled with.
But this is my contention. Yes, everything you're saying about them, I believe, is accurate. But it's not the men that won the war for independence, right? It was the morality of the people. So if I were, if I were to get a choice,
they were much more moral.
If I had the choice, I wouldn't transplant all the signers of the Declaration of Independence to today. I would transplant the morality of the people.
Oh, for sure.
To here, because it's not
for sure
necessarily the men. It's just
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that morality. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, because how did they even write that document? That is like they're trying to fashion the most moral document that they can come up with, which was pretty intense. And it's pretty amazing what they did come up with.
So that kind of brings me
to must have had
how
some
do you
fist
solve
fights
this
to get there, though.
Right?
I bet they had some fist fights we never heard of. Good.
No, I was saying, it brings us back to, how do we solve the current state of affairs? How do we solve all these issues in the United States? And again, we all agree it's not political. You're not going to vote your way out of this. It's not going to be one president that fixes all this stuff anyways. Everything's broken. So the only way that we get out of this, the only thing that's coming is either judgment or the opposite of it, right? So that if we change the heart of the nation, get back to our founding principles, turn back to God, and you reverse that ideological and cultural subversion, it's the only way to fix this. Otherwise, we're going to be in judgment. We're going to be in judgment, and we will find ourselves locked up in some camp or some prison somewhere.
Some archipelago?
Archipelago.
Yeah, gulag, right. Yeah, listen, the Constitution, as they wrote it, clearly had in mind a moral population, an educated population. The people that are coming across the border now and all the dope smoking idiots, they can't handle it. I mean, this is too serious for them. I mean, they're not the same people that Constitution was written for.
Right.
It takes very serious men to uphold that and women to uphold that Constitution. And most of the people coming across the border are tribal, or that sort of thing, or even criminals that are releases, prisons released in Venezuela, that sort of thing. These people have no concept of this Planet of the Apes. You know what I mean? This is just like Maslow's hierarchy. They're just going to weak people. You get your stuff stolen from you, period. Killed, raped.
We need to pull all of our kids out of public education. Government subsidized education.
Yep.
Bring them home.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, I mean that's what we do with our kids, and it's a huge difference.
Do you have a heart out, or are you good for like 2-3 more questions?
I know. I was just checking something back in the United States very quickly here. I look to be good to go though.
Yeah. Wow.
So while you're doing that, can I ask you, is there anybody that you see in Congress right now that you're like, that's a good one?
Maybe Massey.
I love Massey. Him and I talk on X every now and again.
Yeah. I mean, he seems serious. Is he the only one?
He might be. That's the scary thing. Out of 500 members, he's the one where you're like,
yeah,
that's terrifying. Okay, so before we go, I wanted to ask you about, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but fasting.
I just went 40 days.
I know. I was watching it.
Yeah.
So why did you do that? Why did you do that? And how do you feel?
I feel very good. Actually, I was kind of sad that it was over because I was like, I can keep going. I can definitely keep going. And then I thought, I think it would be unwise, actually. And actually, it wasn't that hard. That's the weird thing. It wasn't. The hard part is like the first 3 to 5 days, right? Once you get past that and you're not afraid, you have to put your fear to sleep, or throw it out that window, because people are afraid to do it. They're like, I don't think I can do that. And just shh. You can do it. You can. I mean, if you don't have enough fat, you can't do it. I don't think you guys can do it. You guys don't have enough fat. But I mean, you can go 5 or 10 days, no problem. I think everybody in special operations should do at least 1 10-day fast. It should be like mandatory. And there's a reason why, because as you know, in SF, a lot of times you get the hungriest times I've ever spent in my life were when I was in special forces, right? Because then I had very low body fat. We're working extremely hard, you know what I mean? And you're ready to eat that dog you hear barking, you know what I mean? You'll eat the bark off the tree or the bark. I'll eat the bark off the tree or the bark on that dog, And so, but that's when you super low body fat and you're just working so hard. But if you're in garrison, and the thing is like Masako Ganaha, she's a Japanese journalist. She wanted me to take her out and do some hard stuff like Darien Gap. And so a lot of times when I'm out there doing stuff, I don't want to stop to eat because I don't have time for it. I don't want to schedule it. It'll interrupt our flow, right? Because I want to get in the jungle, do our stuff, and do our things, right? And if we have to stop to eat, it messes everything up. Because I want to click. Yep. So I went with her for 4 days, no food, and she did fine. I was like, okay, I'll take her, right? And so she did completely fine. Because then anytime we miss meals and can't get it, hey, we're just not going to eat today, or bring something if you want, but we're not stopping anywhere, right? So she's good with it. It's great. And so if your team is like that, and especially like special operations guys, if they know, hey man, 5 days with no food, that's a joke. Unless you're working really hard, then it might not be a joke. But there's people that, if you're like carrying a rucksack up and down the mountains, it could get a little bit more serious, especially if you don't have any fat. But there's people who run marathons while they're fasting, right? Literally multiple marathons while fasting, multiple. I don't know how they do it, but but the 40 days wasn't that hard. The hardest part is like the first 3 or 4 or 5 days. But as soon as you get through that, it's like you've passed through the muck and you're smooth, right?
Did you eat today?
Oh yeah, I ate one meal. So I stopped fasting 5 days ago now, right? 4 or 5 days.
So do you
and I've
modify
eaten one
your
meal a
diet
day
because you just went through that big period of fasting that you're like, okay, now I've got the advantage. I'm gonna change my diet and try to be more healthy, or do you just go back to what you're eating?
Oh yeah, I just went to OMAD, just one meal a day. Like yesterday, I stopped. The only thing that they don't do well in Thailand is steak. Everything else is like super ultra incredible food. But I love steak, so I went to this steakhouse, and it was another steak in Thailand. Not great, but I got a big one. So I ate it last night, and then what's that?
He said,
So I ate that. Yeah. But Thailand's got like the best food in the world, man. That and Japan, it's unbelievable. And Malaysia too. And what's that?
Rice, a lot of carbs.
Oh yeah, but well, I just wanted to go for I like steak anyway, but also I just wanted to go heavier on protein, and so I got this giant steak yesterday, and I ate half of it yesterday and half today, and and a salad and that sort of thing. But I just transitioned over to OMAD, one meal a day.
So, do you have any final thoughts or?
No, go on you, man.
So, I think that what you're doing is, I wish everyone in the media had the inquisitive mind and the determination that you have.